About the time I slept through my home being robbed.
I've never heard this.
Are you sure?
I've never heard this.
I just told this story, and my apologies, but I could have swore I told it on a podcast.
Never heard it, bud.
Okay.
Well, tell it, and if it comes back to me.
Okay, so... Okay. You ever have someone... I can't believe I didn't tell this story. If I did, I apologize. But anyway, you ever have someone bestow responsibility onto you that you didn't want and didn't ask?
Oh, it happens all the time.
You have no choice.
Sure.
Especially if it's in a moment where it's like, oh, hey, Dad, do this for me or whatever, blah, blah.
Right.
And it's just, first of all, it's like way too much responsibility.
Sure.
But even if it's not, sometimes it's like, oh, I would rather not do that. I wish you didn't put that on me. But sometimes it's like way over the threshold of what should be acceptable responsibility. I used to work nights. I used to bartend. I used to go home 5, 6 in the morning. Right?
Right.
So I used to go home 5, 6 in the morning, have something to eat, get to bed 6, 7 in the morning. And that was my nighttime. And I used to sleep between 5 and 7 hours. And, you know, I'd wake up. That was my clock. That was my routine for years. All right. So one time I lived downstairs from a guy who lived upstairs. He was a New York City detective.
What? This was your old apartment?
Yeah.
The basement?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
He was a detective, this guy, right?
Wait. Okay, this is starting to tickle something to me. All right, keep going.
So I'm sleeping. I'm sound asleep, and I hear a bang at my door. And I'm like, what the heck? And I like had all the shades drawn and everything. Like it was like I had to keep the shades drawn because it gets light. It gets light when I get home.
Does this story get absurd? Like there's an absurd exchange at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. I think I've heard this before.
Oh, do you think I said it on the podcast?
No. I know you haven't said it on the podcast. I haven't heard this story in years. I haven't heard this story in 10 years.
I jump up completely flustered, half asleep, and I run to the door in my pajamas. I'm in a pajama pants, a t-shirt. I'm barefoot, right? And I crack the door, like the light beams in, and it's my upstairs neighbor, my landlord.
Right.
And he goes, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just sleeping. Why? Whatever." He goes, "You didn't hear anything?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, No. What happened?" He's like, "The house was robbed." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "The house was robbed." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? When?" He's like, "Right now." And I was like, "No." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I just came home. The front door is broken into. It's literally busted off the hinges, the front door. You didn't hear it?" I'm like, "No, I didn't hear anything. I was sleeping, you know?" He's like, "All right, let's go." He goes, "I didn't even go in yet. They might still be in here. They might still be in there. Let's go." And I just was like, "Wait, what?" And he just starts walking. He just starts walking to the front of the house. My door was in the back of the house. So I was like, oh my God, holy shit. So I just closed the door behind me. My hair sticking straight up in the air. My face probably has like lines on it. Right. My eyes are half open. I'm in my t-shirt's all wrinkly, like I'm in pajamas, barefoot.
You're no Batman.
I walk out of the house completely barefoot. The daylight hits me and I haven't even adjusted my eyes to the daylight yet. And I'm running down the driveway toward him to the front of the house to a door that's knocked off the hinges where there may be 1 to 100 burglars inside, like wielding weapons.
Sure.
I'm like, I don't even know what to do. And he's at the front door. He's like, ready? He takes a fucking gun out from his backside.
So he's armed. He's good to fucking go.
He is a New York detective who's like a big dude too. He's a big guy, been on the job a long time. He deals with perps, all that shit, right? All that's cop stuff, you know? Perps. So
cop stuff.
He takes a gun out, right? We're at the front of his door. He goes, ready? He pulls out a gun. He cocks it, right? And then he holds it just like in the movies in front of himself like this.
Right.
And he goes flying in the door, like angling the gun in every which way, like in case there's somebody there.
Right.
I'm behind him, unarmed, barefoot, half asleep in my pajamas, and I have never dealt with a perp, right? I'm like, I don't know what to do. I gotta support the fucking guy. God forbid I'm in too deep now.
Right.
What if someone jumps him and they're rustling for the gun and I'm the third party? I'm the guy that has to come over and hit that guy or help free the gun. You know what I mean? I'm that guy.
You're backup.
I'm backup, but I'm like also like side up or whatever it is. It's just him. What if there's 2 guys? Now I'm not backup. Now it's 2-on-2.
Right.
What if there's 3 guys? Now I'm not backup. Now I'm outnumbered. So I'm only potentially backup. I don't know what I am. All I know is that I'm in pajamas. That's all I know. So he goes in and he's going against the wall like in the fucking movies, and he's going like this, and he's swinging it around. It's fully loaded. He's ready to. He is ready. This guy, I'm telling you right now, was like a nice guy, but he was a tough guy. There's no fucking way. He had a wife. She wasn't home.
Right.
He had a newborn. His wife was pregnant. There's no fucking way. He had every right. His door was on the floor. He has the right to carry a gun. I'm telling you right now, the guy was going to shoot somebody.
Of course.
The guy was going to shoot somebody.
Well, they train that in the academy. That's their thing. If you pull your gun, you're shooting to kill. It's not like the movies where they wing or they go to damage.
Shoot him in his calf.
No. Your gun's out. It's kill time.
Right. If someone jumps out at him, you don't think he's going to shoot that gun?
Right.
Here's another thing I'm thinking now. Let's just say there's one guy.
Right.
And he shoots him. Now I got to watch him murder. I'm in my pajamas. Like, I don't even understand.
Right.
I'm going to watch someone get blown away through the chest.
Right.
I don't want to see that shit. I've never seen that in my life. If there's 2 guys, I'm going to watch 2 murders. You know, like if one of the guys has a gun, unless there's a burglar with a gun and another unarmed burglar in pajamas, it's not a fair fight.
Like a guy who just woke
up. like unless a burglar knocked on his friend's door and was like, yo, get up. Come with me right now. I'm about to rob this bitch.
Break yourself, fool.
And his friend was like, what? I can't rob you. I'm half asleep. Like, unless that happened, and then still yet, what if he just shoots the guy with the pajama burglar, and then I gotta fight the burglar with the gun? Like, there's way too many things going on that I don't want to be a part of right now. So he doesn't talk. So he's now speaking in like SWAT team moves to me, right? Like,
oh my God.
Like the eyes go through here, and I'm just like, all right. I'm like literally like I'm just holding up my fist. I swear to God, I'm like literally like just like this, like an old timey boxer or whatever. And he clears the first floor. He gets to the foot of his steps and he looks at me. He points to his eyes. He points up, and then he tells me to follow him. And he goes up the steps with his gun out, like just creeping up the steps. I'm 1 foot behind him.
Did he call the police? I know he is the police.
He called them already.
Okay.
But we were gonna do in hindsight, he could have stood at the front door with his gun cocked.
That's right.
And I could have stayed sleeping on my couch. I didn't even have a bed.
You could have just rolled over.
I didn't even own a bed. I slept on a couch.
The famous couch.
Yeah, the couch. It's a bed couch. So I'm following him up the steps, and we get to the top of the steps. He fucking kicks a door in. Dude, it was just like the movies.
Right.
And I'm just waiting for someone to he could get killed.
Right, this doesn't excite you. There is a certain amount of people that would be like, this is awesome. This is not.
No. When you're in this moment, it's the most terrifying thing in the world.
Pussy.
No, I'm not a pussy.
Pussy.
No, Nugget, I would love to see you in this situation.
Nugget would be the man breaking into the house.
I figured you would. He's shooting a nugget on contact. I'm just telling you right now.
Shoot 1 nugget, 5 nuggets rise in its place.
I don't want to be there for that.
There are not enough bullets in the world to kill Nugget. Continue, pussy.
So we're going up the steps, and here's what I'm thinking.
Right.
This is one of 2. I'm either going to watch someone get murdered.
Sure. I'm
going to watch my friend get murdered.
Right.
We both are going to get murdered.
If a guy, let's say, you got to finish your sentence. I don't want to cut you off.
I'm walking up the steps, and in
if a machete comes out,
in 15 steps, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to watch him murder 1 to 10 people. I'm going to watch 1 to 10 people murder him. I'm going to watch 1 to 10 people murder him, then me.
Right.
I'm just gonna die. Everyone else is gonna be fine. Like the murder, the guy's gonna get away with like a sweet stereo system, and somehow no one's gonna get hurt except for me. Like anything, and then I'm gonna get found in my fucking pajamas. They weren't even my best pajamas. So he goes upstairs. He kicks the door and he swings the gun around and he checks every room. I'm right behind him, and he's like, "All right, they're not here." Like this guy used to do dip. You know?
Right.
He's like, all right, they're not here. I'm telling you, he used to do that.
Right, got it.
And so he's like, oh, they're not here. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, as we go back downstairs, I'm fucking hyperventilating. Mm-hmm. And he's like cracking jokes. He's like, that fuck is lucky, you know? Go like fucking NYPD Blue and shit. And then the cops all screech and run out of the car toward the door.
Sure.
This is
absolutely
one of their own.
They announce that on the radio when they say this, like, right.
They run up and they like literally charge toward me. And they're just like, who are you? What's going on? I'm like, no. He's with me, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, all right, what's going on? They start running up. They go, even though he did it all already.
Sure.
They go look around and everything. And then, of course, they ask him a couple of questions. And then out of nowhere, I become the number one suspect.
Really?
Yeah, because I was home. And he wasn't home. So they're like, well, not like we know you did it.
Sure, they're not turning on a light in your eyes.
No, but all of a sudden, they're just like, well, we have to let's ask him a few more questions.
Sure.
And again, I've now been up for like, what, 100 seconds? I don't even know, like a few hundred seconds, you know? So the door was busted off the fucking hinges. So the cops, like, you know, they're like, oh, their radios are going off. They all like form a semicircle around me and they're like, what happened?
Right.
You were the only one here. What happened? And I'm like, well,
and even when you didn't do something wrong, you still feel like, I got to defend myself.
Oh, just like I've been writing a new joke about how, like, whenever a cop's behind me in a car,
right?
Like, everything I know about myself is doubted. Everything. Like, just because a cop car is behind me at a light or driving behind me, I'm just like, I hope there are no drugs in this car. Right. But it's my car.
There's no drugs in the car, right?
But I'm just like, I just hope I didn't do anything recently. Right. I forgot. But they turn on me and they go, what happened? You're the only one here. And I'm like, I don't know. And like, how do you not know? And I was like, well, they're like, you live downstairs. You had to have heard this. And I was like, well, no, I didn't hear it. And the cop's like, how can you not hear that? He's like, and he hits he's like, you don't hear that? I'm like, well, no, I was sleeping. And one of the other cops goes, sleeping? It's 1:30.
Now he's judging. He's judging your lifestyle like that's on top of everything.
I felt like all of a sudden, all my insecurities about dying shifted to my insecurities about where I was in my life at this point.
Yeah, because like, this cop's got a pension and a 20-year career.
What my job was, if I was doing the right thing by my parents, should I be proud of myself? Like, and I felt like they also
no.
I don't expect any encouragement from you at all.
Well, you won't get it, so you're right for once.
Oh, all right, there you go. So now I'm thinking that their interrogation might even be like they're actually smirking underneath, like knowing that when he goes sleeping, it's 1:30. These cops, they all like have this like sense of humor and stuff.
Yeah,
and like I think they were all just like laughing at me.
I like that your symbol, your physical representation of a sense of humor was you started throwing your elbows out like you were elbowing a guy next to you on both sides. You were like, they have a sense of humor.
So now I feel like they know it's not me, but now they're gonna make me answer for my lifestyle. Right. So I felt like, and don't get me wrong, like I worked at this place for 8 years. I worked hard there, and I later bought a bar because of everything that I learned there. It was like, it was a good plan B, right? Right. But I was like, well, now but I feel so stupid. I'm barefoot. Everyone in the room I was standing in everyone was in boots and had a gun in their hand. Okay. All right. I had on like a Gap. I had on like a Gap soft wash pocket tee. Right. With like Corona pants. Like Corona pajamas. And I was barefoot and my hair was like sticking up. I mean, even when someone rings your bell, even if you didn't come right out of bed, you're always like, oh shit, let me just what do I look like? Sure. Well, I look like a fucking idiot. Like I look like you rip someone out of their bed. And I was like, yeah, well, I work nights. And he's like, work nights? I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I bartend, I work nights, and I get home at 6 o'clock. So, like, really, like, right now, this is really my morning right now. And I'm just, like, over-explaining. I'm like, really, this is my morning right now. Like, I would, as a matter of fact, if he didn't knock on the door, I would have probably woke up, like, within 10 or 15 minutes, because I wouldn't have slept much later than this, And what I do is I get up right away, I jump in the shower, I eat something, and then I try and exercise a little, and then there's things I do, I have to run my errands, I'm just going, and they're like, all right. They're like, how old are you? I'm like, whatever I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm 30 or whatever, and he's like, ah. And then they just, like, all, like, walked away from me, and, like, literally walked away from me. Like, they just all walked away, and they left me standing there alone. Like, not only are we not interested in talking to you anymore, but we're not even going to, like, you don't even, like, you're not even worth their time. I just standing there alone. Well, in their defense, a crime's afoot, and if they ruled you out, what are they supposed to do? Hold your hand through your life choices? Right. But my point is, like, he was like, let's go. And one of two things. One, that's crazy that he said that to me.
Right.
It's crazy.
Why does he even want you as backup anyway? You're an untrained civilian.
I know. We were friends, and he was like a good guy.
Sure.
And like I would sometimes like we'd barbecue in the back. Like, we became friends. Not close friends, but like
not following into the gates of hell.
We were neighbors, definitely, and friendly neighbors, and he was my landlord, and stuff like that. But not that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just a mentality they have. Like, let's do this.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, you got it, I guess, if you're a cop.
But even if I was like had like a coat on and some shoes,
right?
I would have felt a little better. I could grab a bat or something.
Right.
But yeah, he did that to me, and then like I went from questioning my life to like my lifestyle. Like it was life to lifestyle, and I'll tell you what, lifestyle was caused just as much anxiety.
Really?
Yeah.
So you would say possibly your innocence was robbed that day. The thieves, they took more than like a VCR and a 13-inch television. Right. These people, and I don't remember what they got away with. I think they just didn't get anything. Maybe they stole some money. Yeah. But they have no idea. Just like, I don't know if I talked about that roach that got me a ride in a Rolls Royce, but the burglars have no idea. Right. That they gave me that experience. I'm talking about 10 years, like, right. 8 now they're
later.
getting talked about on a podcast.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but I'm trying to develop that into a bit too.
It's funny. Yeah, it's good.